Okay. This is the BroadsCast. I'm Amy Walsh. That voice you hear is Signa Butler. No Shireen Ahmed this week because she is vacationing and holidaying and having a grand old time in PEI. And Rian Wilkinson and Claire Rustad continue to do the good work in the footballing world and the medical world, respectively. But Sigs and I were finally back on the call together for the Ottawa-Montreal game. That was the first NSL game this season on the CBC. So that was a great time, and Shireen was on the panel with me and the lovely Andy Petrillo, but Sigs, you and I shared the booth, and that was terrific for me, hopefully just as terrific for the listeners and the viewers. But But other than that, I think that didn't open week 18, but I'll pull up here just the roundup of our scores. So we had Ottawa Rapids, so it should be noted that their victory finally versus the Montreal Roses, because after 3 encounters, they were on a wrong end of all of those results. They lost 1 and they'd drawn twice, so finally a victory for them. But they opened up week 18 with a draw versus AFC Toronto. And then, as I mentioned, they were the away team visiting Stade Boreal and the Montreal Roses. So 2 early goals from who else? DB Pridham saw them take that one 2-0. And then immediately following, it was the Calgary Wild with the 1 goal, and that's all they needed, versus the Halifax Tides, who were visiting them at McMahon. And then to conclude the week on the Sunday, it was a 1-0 victory, a hard-fought one, a resolute one, a resilient performance by the Vancouver Rise to beat the home side at BMO Field in AFC Toronto. So they are still top of the table, and I did not, damn it, pull that one. For the standings, because there are some interesting things happening with our standings. So AFC Toronto are still tops, but they have 2 games in hand. And for the first time, and Sigs, I think you were the one that mentioned this to me, the Montreal Roses, for the first time this season, slip out of the top 2 in NSL. So it's the Ottawa Rapid who sneak up into that second spot.
Yeah, by goal differential right now. So yeah, both at 25 points, Ottawa and Montreal, and then Vancouver with 23. So that was a key victory for them. Calgary's got 20 points, so still within distance, and the Tides are at 12. So that's where the standings are. But really, I think the 2 most consistent performers, and that was one of the themes of our broadcast this weekend, have been Ottawa and Montreal in terms of their style of play, in terms of how they started the season and where they are now, very consistent. Whereas other teams have sort of, seen a little bit of a roller coaster. I'm doing this movement with my finger for those listeners out there. But I would say they're the 2 most consistent teams. So sitting at second and third is maybe no surprise.
Yeah, for sure. And then I mentioned it just quickly there in the score roundup, but the fact that the Ottawa Rapid, and I'm kind of skipping past that match where they shared the points with AFC Toronto. But we spoke to Katrina Peterson. She talked about managing the loads in the players' legs, rotating our squad a little bit more. Desi Scott started on the bench in that encounter. And then they go out and they're clinical. They started with a certain verve and aggression, and they were just really, they played with conviction, didn't they?
Yeah. And to your point that you made in the broadcast early on, it was a mission. It was we're getting up in this game. We're going to go firing on all cylinders in the first 15 minutes, and we're going to see what happens. And, they saw what happened. It was 2-0 in that first half, and they didn't look back. And that's what they needed to do. They were, I would say, I didn't think they were too tired. I wouldn't say towards the second half, they seemed to be fine, but I really liked the insertion of Julia Bonatti, a little underrated. I thought that she had a really, really solid performance in the midfield. Kind of not necessarily playing that double. I don't think they necessarily played the double pivot like they normally do. They kind of adjusted that a little bit, more offensive minded. And and Florence Belzile, really impressive with 2 assists in that performance as well. So it was but I do say, okay, I'm just going to say this out here. I just wonder if you agree with me. It's not just the Ottawa Montreal game had its moments where it was just both teams weren't performing at their very best. It was a bit choppy, in terms of the for 2 teams that are very possession based. And I don't mean choppy as in physical. I mean choppy as in just connection on the field.
Yes, it lacked a certain quality that both teams usually possess when they have the ball. They both like to dominate the ball. They usually move the ball around quite easily. It's fluid, and it lacked that element.
It did, and I felt that a bit with the Vancouver-Toronto game as well. Again, two teams with a lot of quality on the teams, and I wonder if teams and players are feeling a bit of that, like, it's a long season. We've got 10 games remaining. And there's a bit of that, like, not a lull, but just like, wow, it's heavy, like we've carried a heavy load so far. We got 10 games left, and maybe we'll see teams get over that hump, in this next week of play, in this week 19 coming up. But just that, it's the heaviness of a long season. And a lot of these players have not had professional seasons before. So I think that may have something to do with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then to your earlier point too about how Ottawa has seemed, even though they've never been top, but I think their floor for their performances has been quite high. So like everybody has managed ebbs and flows. Everybody has managed maybe a thinner roster in certain positions because of injuries or maybe the way that they've constructed their rosters. But Ottawa's maintained kind of that steady hand, I feel like throughout this season. But what I wanted to pivot to really quick, maybe before we start talking about Calgary's 1-0 victory over Halifax, is there was a big announcement today by the Calgary Wild that they're, I would say, the face of their franchise, the player who is espoused, I think, everything that they want to be on the pitch and is critical to the way that they play. And that's Maggie Doherty-Howard, was extended until 2028. So Sigs, you speak to what that means for this team and for the player, but I think also for the league, that this is one of the first big announcements that extends, 3 years from now.
I think this is huge news. And like the Colby Barnett, it was the first extension that we've seen already this season. Again, a player that's very critical to the way that Toronto plays. But Maggie Doherty-Howard, being a former NWSL player, with a load of experience, not only just a leader on the pitch, but, in the words of some other coaches that we've spoken to in the league, she's a player. Like, she's a 2-footed player. She moves around constantly. She can hurt you from distance. She can hurt you on set pieces. I mentioned the leadership and just the work ethic, I think, that she shows really rubs off on everyone else on a young team, a relatively young team. They do have some veterans, obviously, Michaela Moore being another one of those key veterans for them as well. But I think I kind of think she's the midfielder of the year, to be honest. I know there's other competition in that category, but I just think for a team like Calgary, they lean on her so much, and she has not let them down. And 2028, that's a real confidence booster. And what she said, and this is, it was kind of, we talk about it being a coup for Calgary picking up this player in the offseason. But she was impressed by the female leadership of this team, whether it was from the ownership group or whether it was from Alex Brooke and Lydia Bedford. She was impressed by them from the very get-go and believes in what Calgary's vision is. And I think that only builds the reputation of the NSL. If this player that's played at the highest level in the NWSL and played, she's not a fringe player by any means, right? Like, if she's coming in and she's saying, I believe in this product and I believe in this team, I think that that's a strong message to other players out there that this league is legit.
100%. I agree with everything that you just said. And I would just add, like, about the player, like, I think you saying, I think she's the midfielder of the year, people are going to be like, oh my God, like, Emma Regan plays in this league, like Nikki Small, like there are other players who are highly talented, highly competitive in that same area of the pitch. But for what she stands for the team, like, she is the keystone piece of the Calgary Wild. And not only for her quality on the set pieces, but the way she sprays the ball around, the way she connects, the way that she drops back both sides of the ball. She does everything for Calgary. And to that end, I think it's a good transition to our Week 18 Best 11.
Some new faces.
Yes, some new faces. But I wanted to point out immediately that I may as well just kind of put Maggie Doherty-Howard, MDH, and indelible ink in our Best 11, because I don't know if she's moved at all. Like,
I don't think she has. Like, Regan may have moved 1 week, but she's also been. It might be like a duel between midfielder of the year between those.
I know
players,
she's in the. They're both key to making their teams tick and to playing the way that their managers want them to play.
Mm-hmm.
They're absolutely foundational pieces to both of those franchises. So for our audio listeners, I will just go through this really quick. So we have Morgan McCaslin, who was brilliant in net for the Vancouver Rise and obviously got help from the woodwork, but key to keeping that clean sheet versus AFC Toronto, who were pressing really, really late in that game. And then our back line is Eva Fremo for the Tides. You've got Cowart for the Rise. Harris, again, somebody who is always in 11. Yeah, always in there. And then Valorant for the Halifax Tides. And then we've got Chang from the Rise, Regan from AFC Toronto, Maggie Doherty-Howard, there she is, MDH for the Calgary Wild as a part of our midfield. And then our front three, and Sigs, I know you're going to disagree with me here, but we've got Florence Belzile in her Go Big Red Huskers kit because we don't, Ottawa Rapid don't have an Ottawa Rapid.
She was graduating, so she didn't have an official picture.
That's right. She wasn't at the car wash. DB Pridham, again, somebody who's in here quite frequently, and Jess DiFilippo, who came up with that clutch goal and the great celebration where she had the emojis like the face cover and then the shush to the Toronto fans and then the heart to her family in the stands. It was terrific. So this is what NSL needs. It needs, we know it's got the storylines, we know it's got the interesting personalities and the quality of play, but you need that sort of stuff too, the rivalries, right, Sigs?
Yes. And just DiFilippo's, that's the second time that she's burned Toronto too.
That's right. The last time was at York Lions Stadium.
Corner. So you just did the heart thing and like hearts showed up.
Really?
On the screen. I don't know what happened there. It was really cool.
I think that's a Mac thing.
It doesn't take much to entertain us, really.
No, it doesn't. So go ahead here because I made a couple of basically our 11s were very, very similar.
Okay.
But I felt like Belzile on 2 assists needed to go in, and then Pridham had the brace. So I displaced some of your players.
45 minutes, but that's the only reason why maybe she wasn't on my list. I did think that Tanya Boychuk had a really strong game for the Roses, and I felt that she was I don't want to say the only one but like one of the only ones that for a full 90 minutes, I could see her going forward, shielding the ball, coming back, backtracking. She just seemed to be all over the place. And not in a bad way. Like she just seemed to be focused on wanting to get her team back into that game. So I had her as one of my front three, even though she kind of played more of a wide midfield role in that match. And then I wanted to give a nod to Jorian Bauckham of the Calgary Wild because she had an assist and she was a big presence. Again, a player that plays really well with back to goal. I think she's on the verge of something in Calgary now that she's got a few games and building the chemistry with their team. But she set up Catherine Harvey for her first NSL goal. And
nearly set up Maggie Doherty-Howard as well, who smashed the post.
Fourth minute. So I think a little nod there. And then the other person that didn't make my 11, but that I thought had like I already mentioned her was Julia Bonatti. I thought she had a really strong game in the midfield as somebody who, came into a different role that she may not normally play and did a great job. And nods to the two wing backs. I think Halifax has their back line sorted out.
I think they do as well.
Yeah. And we're seeing some pieces. I mean, everybody, who listens to the broadcast knows I'm from Halifax. I want the best for the league. I want all 6 teams to be competitive. And I think that they're on the right track now. It might be a little bit, late, but at least fighting, I thought that those two showed a lot of fight against the Wild.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at least they're not leaking goals the way that they were, right?
No.
So they definitely figured out, I think, the alignment, not just on the pitch, but the right personalities, the right type of profiles that are on that back line. And it was Guillemette who was in net as well, with Toth picking up a knock and McLeod unavailable. So good depth of squad, I think, developing as well for the Tide. So hopefully that tide starts to turn.
Let's see. And Katie Barrett taking the helm for Stephen Hart this week because he was away. That was one of the dates he could not be at the helm. So nice to see that New Zealand first New Zealand coach, I think, or something like that for their professional franchise.
That's it. Well, I think first New Zealand women's coach to be a head coach professionally. I believe I could have said that more eloquently, but you know what I mean.
That's a little history.
So I heard a little bing bong, and that means that we have a special guest who has just arrived in studio. Before we do that, so week 19, I know that we could have wrapped 18 a little bit more comprehensively, but that's okay. Follow us both for more NSL content. But this week 19, sees 2 matches, one on Saturday where the Roses will take on the Wild. And then Sunday's match is the Ottawa Rapid versus Vancouver Rise FC. So on that note, oh my goodness, somebody was very far away.
Should I scoot forward more?
Maybe a little bit.
It's like such a wide angle on the camera. I wasn't expecting that. When I normally do Zoom meetings, they're like right in my face this close.
Do you want to try, Allie, if you put it landscape instead of portrait? Oh, that's better.
Is that better?
Is that okay for you?
Yeah, I'll just make sure I'm looking at the actual camera on my iPad now.
Well, you'd be better at that than me or Sigs. I think your generation has got that under control.
Yeah, we started the show talking about my kids' dinosaurs, and I'm a little bit of a dinosaur when it comes to technology. So
who am I though? And I'm only 29, and I still swear. Like sometimes I think my family's a little bit better than me, and I'm like, this is no excuse, Allie.
Okay, so for all our listeners, that voice you hear is Allie Hess from the Montreal Roses. So welcome, Allie. We're really pleased to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so we thought we'd just go through or like kind of run the gamut here of your career. So obviously from Missouri, and then you went over to the Bundesliga. Or no, first of all, you had a little pit stop in NWSL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then over to the Bundesliga and then to the Montreal Roses.
Yeah.
So just talk about how you ended up at the Roses. Like, what was your first connection like? Who did you speak to? What piqued your interest? Did you hear murmurs or rumblings that there was a Northern Super League in the works?
Yeah, so after I finished up in Germany, I was kind of like in between deciding, do I want to stay in Europe? Do I want to make my way back towards North America? I actually got a new agent at the time who is from Toronto, and he was like, there's this awesome new project. Like, he's like, this stuff is big. Like, you want to get behind it. He told me about the Northern Super League, and I think that next week I was on a call with Montreal. It was, I think, Marionnette, Robert, and a few other faces. And instantly I could feel it. And for me, I'm a big like emotion, passion girl. So the second that I could feel kind of all the vibes behind that, the energy, it's closer to home for me. I was like, I really need to like pursue this and look into it. And, you know, logistics line up and all that good stuff too. But like at the end of the day, it was, I tell Marionnette this all the time. Marionnette got on there and she was like, we have a plan for you. We want you. This is the culture we want to build. And I was like, done. Like, it felt so good to me, and obviously sat with it later. But even talking to her on the call, I was like, there was something in my gut that was saying, yeah, okay, this feels right.
I love that. I mean, obviously your leadership, your IQ on the pitch, we've had the benefit, Signa and I, watching you quite closely through a little more than half of the season here. Like your engine, the ground cover, you were an essential piece to the way that the Roses want to play. And I think that they missed you this past weekend. So despite your integral presence deep in that midfield, when you were announced as a signing this past winter, you were described as a versatile player who could be deployed as a striker, a playmaker, and a defensive center mid. So Signa was like, where is this player going to play? And I was like, well, I'll try to give you the deets and like kind of the DL on her because of my connection with the Roses, but I'm not sure. So now that we've got you here, where do you prefer to play? And like, what about in college and in Germany? Like, were you always kind of deep in midfield or did you play all over?
No, I was like a very attacking player my whole entire time growing up. I played a 9. I even was out on the wings for a little bit when I was younger. Just had an eye for the goal and connecting up there. And then, yeah, when I started my professional career, I was a striker. I was a straight, like, 9, not your run in deep, but like kind of like a false 9. That was like my bread and butter, and got recruited to go play in the Bundesliga as a striker. And then that's where I slowly like kind of started moving backwards. I did play midfield a little bit in college. I started there as a striker as well. And we played in a 4-4-2. So I had a little more freedom as a striker. And then I got bumped into the midfield. my last year I played a 6. We had to fill a different position, and I was like, okay, why not? Let's try it out. Different style of play though, so it didn't necessarily fit me as a 6 in that environment. But yeah, when I went to Germany, it was like I started up top and just like climbed deeper and deeper. And then next thing, I mean, I played center back a few times in Germany as well against Bayern and Wolfsburg, and like I loved it. I loved it. I love that I could see the field in front of me, and just kind of dictate, lead, communicate from that perspective. But yeah, I started up top and just slowly made my way deeper. And then my favorite position, box to box, like an 8 through and through.
Do Anna and Gab and Anne-Marie, do they keep looking over their shoulder thinking that you're going to drop further deeper and end up like with the goalkeeping gloves?
I mean, honestly, they're probably thinking at some point when we're in training, like I'm coming into their 6-yard box, the ball, they're probably wanting to hand me their gloves right then and
there. Speaking of the midfield position, you're playing alongside Charlotte Bilbao, and we've heard a lot from your teammates, basically just of the kind of excellence that she demands of everybody. But I'm just wondering what it's like for a player like yourself who also has experience to play alongside her.
Yeah, she's incredible. For me, like coming into that midfield, knowing that I had a chance to play with a player like Charlotte was crazy. I mean, the first like couple weeks of preseason, I was sitting there just watching her. I was trying to absorb and learn as much as I could from her, her movements, what she was doing, where she was demanding the ball. And I think that's a big piece of, for me, I like to watch others around me in the game. That's where I kind of have more success myself, is when I'm able to kind of watch the other players and move off of them. And so I saw Charlotte and I was like, this is crazy. Like this girl, I mean, legend of the game in general, but just the way that she leads too. I was like, this will be so good for me. I felt like I was a rookie playing next to her. Like to be in that space, I felt like I had so much more to learn just based off her experience and everything that she brings to the game. But it's been incredible. That girl, she encourages me to enjoy the game more. I think I found so much more freedom just in my style of play. Like, it's football. It's beautiful. Like, at the end of the day, it's supposed to bring us joy. It's supposed to have a lot of emotion. And being able to embrace all of that, I've really learned a lot of that from her. She's incredible.
Awesome. Just following up on that, you also have, some younger midfielders as well that I'm sure that you've taken under your wing. I'm thinking about Felicia and Mara, among others. How has that been? And you watching somebody like Felicia at 19 years of age come in and play so well.
Yeah, I mean, Filu, I tell her all the time, Filu and Mara both, like, they play beyond their age. You would not think that they were a rookie. I would never think Filu is 19. Like, the way that she plays with such composure, and she's a sponge right now. She's doing all the right things. She's putting herself in position to be successful. Like, it's awesome. I think that's a big piece of probably why I'm here, and probably same for Charlotte. Like, we are older players, experienced players, but also a big part of the Roses is to, like, our culture is to grow the game and bring people up with us. And so I think to have those young girls and rookies to be able to teach, but also grow alongside them, because they teach me new things all the time. Like, I'm constantly watching their game too. So yeah, it's awesome to have such incredible talent and depth in those positions, and especially like everywhere on the pitch. Like, it's been amazing.
How about the difference, Allie? You spent 3 years in the Bundesliga, correct?
Yeah.
And then as captain as well. So obviously you've brought that leadership with you to the Roses, but what was the biggest difference for you coming from the Bundesliga, an established women's professional league, to one that's fledgling, one that's just beginning?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is, with a starter project, you're trying to build something from the ground up. Whereas, like, when I was in Germany, the club I was at was long-standing. So they had their foundation, they had their principles, they had their culture, all those things. Like, I just came into that. And I think the coolest thing about the Northern Super League and all these teams in this league is we have the coolest opportunity to, number one, bring soccer to Canada, but also to build it from the ground up. So we have essentially all the power, all the control, the resources now to make something so good and to see the game advance like so much more and to give all these young kids something to look forward to. I think that's the coolest thing. Like that thing was already established. All of that was established in Germany. Like the Bundesliga has been around for a long time. And so to be able to be a part of the groundbreaking here and help create the culture and just lay the foundation, it gets me going. You probably can tell. Like I
yeah,
I
that's
think
great.
it's the coolest thing ever, like to be a part of history essentially, and to see this thing like thrive for so many years after like I'm done playing.
Awesome. You're playing at a facility at Stade Boreal, the only professional sports facility built for female soccer or professional sports in Canada. I could have said that better, Amy.
We know what
Allie,
you mean.
I'm just wondering, okay, I heard you guys hang out a lot after training and before training, and like, who's the best at tech ball?
Yeah, yes.
Honestly, I would probably say Noemi and Claire. I think we did it a lot more at the beginning of the season when people are a little more fresh, but those two were always playing. Obviously, Charlotte and probably, honestly, Marionette too. Marionette would come over in between meetings and whatnot and kick all of our butts. So I should probably say her because she's my boss too.
And tech ball is like table tennis and football combined. Just for people who may not know what.
It's awesome. And on that curved table, it's kind of tricky.
Super cool.
But it's for Bear's dad, Valentin, right? Who does all the tech ball stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Valentin. He's the one at our first event, I think, that we did that was like a fan event for the Roses. I absolutely wanted to get the pronunciation of Robert's family name right.
Yeah.
And I went to the source. I asked his dad. And he was very, very happy to really relay the information.
Yeah, yeah. No, that tech ball thing is awesome. It was like a huge part of our activation at the beginning. And now people, as season goes on, you're a little more fatigued, tired. So not as much tech ball because usually we're, tired after training or don't have as much energy to expend, but it's been awesome to have in there.
Very cool. Hey, listen, we can't, I think, let you go without asking, but your partner, Michaela Moore, you're going to face her again this Saturday. What is that like? Like the fact that you've experienced the NSL inaugural year together, but apart. And then what is it like playing against her, especially the game? I can't remember which one it was. It was at Stade Boreal. You intercepted her pass and it led to a Montreal goal. Yeah. What is that like reconnecting after a game of that nature?
Yeah. It's exciting. Neither one of us have done it before. So it comes with a lot of navigating like new stuff. We have, I think, good boundaries in place. Like when we're out on the pitch, we're two separate teams. Like at the end of the day, we're still on the same team, like life team. But like for those 90 minutes, you almost have to just like put a mask on and pretend that you don't know each other and just do your job. I mean, we're both like very professional, experienced players. And so, yeah, when I intercepted the pass in that moment, I'm just like, okay, like my job, transition, go to goal. And then afterwards, I realized I'm like, oh, that was Michaela who passed the ball. Like, that's crazy. Like, and then I was like, okay, like that's an interesting feeling. I feel like I'm excited because a ball in the back of the net, like that's exciting. That's what we want. That's why I do this. And then I was like, okay, but maybe next time not at the expense of my partner. Like we're always like, we both want each other to have a good game. So it's like, I want her to play her best and I want to play my best and like, may the better team win. It's football. Like it can go anyone's way any day.
And she's a big piece of that team out in Calgary as well. So, I mean, and you guys, via social media and me just creeping on you guys, like have seen that you've been able to find time during the season. So is she enjoying her experience as well out there?
Oh, I think for sure. She's really tapped into that like Wild West vibe.
Loves the country music, I heard.
Yes, she loves the country music. Like she's all about the trucks, the cowboy boots, like all those things. So I think she's loving it. I think it's a perfect place for her. And like we've been working on her yeehaws and everything. You're going to be a Calgarian before you know it.
Allie, I was told that in Canada, the Stampede, we say Yahoo. Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. On air, I had a little kind of back and forth with Kate McKenna, who does the hosting when we're on TSN. And she said yeehaw. And I was like, I think it's Yahoo, but not really convincing.
So then I need to work on my Yahoo. So when I finally attend a Stampede, then I'll fit right in.
That's right. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Amy, do you want, is there time for more questions before you do peppering?
Yeah, wait, why don't you want to get another one before we do maybe some rapid fire with Allie?
Because I asked the hard-hitting questions here, Allie. I'm very interested in the road, like the team road trips and like, you know, are you guys a Monopoly deal kind of team? You guys watch videos? Do you keep to yourself? Are you gamers? Like how does the road trips work for you guys?
Oh, the vibes are good. The vibes are good with the Roses. We have and maybe someone's caught one of this. We have a game that I think it's Tanya that actually brought it into the group. It's called Durak, and it's a card game. And I swear these girls play it. It's sometimes a little challenging for my brain. I'm like, okay, I'll just watch and let you guys do your thing. But they play this game, I think, every single trip. Anytime we have downtime in the airport, on the road, on the bus, they love this game. So if you guys ever speak with Tanya or even Julia, because Julia also loves it, it's called Durak, and it's a card game. And at the end, the loser, everyone chants at the loser and kind of like,
like berate.
Yeah, they're like you sing this little song at them, and then they have to like put their name in it. So they're like the Durak, and I don't think that Durak is the nicest phrase in whatever language it is. So yeah, I mean the vibes are awesome. We do so many things, but that is probably the biggest thing is card games all the time.
Nice. I love it. Is it Ukrainian in origin?
It might be. Honestly, I probably should know.
I'm over here like
no, I know. I feel like the cat on the keyboard trying to look it up.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Tanya. But no, Tanya and Julia, I guess, played it a lot, and they both have taught the whole entire team how to play. So even our staff plays sometimes. It's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have time to do a little get to know me on Footy Prime, which is our segment for newbies? Okay. So rapid fire questions. So you don't have to go in depth, just whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
Here we go. So you need to gain weight quickly for a movie role. What is your go-to junk food to reach your goal and to put on the weight?
Oh, I love chips. Any type of chips. Chips, and I do have a sweet tooth. So anything sweet and chips, like that salty and sweet combo, sold.
Love that. I'm a chips kind of gal. Sigs, are you salty or sweet?
I'm a bit of both too. Like I'm like, give me
You
some
and
like
Allie.
Chicago popcorn where you get the sweet and the salty. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. Okay. If you're not listening to the of the moment or popular tunes, what decade of music is in your headphones or your earbuds?
Oh, I really like 2000 pop. Like when I was growing up, like the songs you play at the pool parties, like that's some good Avril Lavigne, something like that. Just like upbeat pop. Yeah.
Look at you with the Canadian pop shout.
I know, crazy, huh?
Yes. Okay. Follow up. Who's the team DJ?
Lucy or Julia. Sometimes I dabble a little bit. Just depends on the vibes.
Okay. And then depending if it's Lucy or Julia, is it a very different genre or is it always just kind of a mix?
It's pretty, they kind of cater to the whole group. I think Lucy does a little more maybe like rap stuff. Julia's got kind of those like get up, we want to dance the party vibes.
That's very much her personality too.
Yeah,
so that matches.
Yeah.
Okay. This might be a little bit of a loaded question based on what I've already asked you, but what NSL team do you love playing against and what player do you hate playing against?
Oof. I mean, I think I've got to say Calgary. There's just a little more in that game for me. And it's not that I hate playing against my partner. I love playing against Michaela, but it's a good battle. So I think I'd have to say that one.
Love that. Okay, you get to meet your sports hero. Who is it or was it and why?
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go old school here a little bit, just before my time. Lauren Holiday used to be Lauren Cheney. Yeah. Amy, you've probably played against her.
I have, yeah.
I grew up watching her. She was on the team FC Kansas City when they first started when I was growing up, and remember watching her as a midfielder and was just like, I want to do exactly what she's doing. And super down-to-earth human, like very humble. So I'd have to say definitely Lauren Holiday.
Nice. If you weren't playing soccer, what sport would you be playing professionally?
The girls will give me probably some crap for this one. I actually bought a basketball and I begged them. When I have the energy, I'm like, will someone please go shoot hoops with me? So I would probably have to say basketball. I also played a lot of volleyball too. So basketball or volleyball, I've got the height for both.
Okay, but just to be clear, you went and bought a basketball, but you're not a newbie to basketball. You've played in your past.
No, I just bought a basketball here when I got to Canada, and I was like, I'm gonna use this. Like, this is where you can find me outside of the soccer pitch.
Yeah, there's something about shooting and finding the swish and just like that rhythm there, that flow state that you can translate. I played
like
basketball
that
too.
Caitlin Clark state. That's what I'm going for.
What was your favorite club growing up? Like a football club, and why?
Honestly, it's probably pretty cliche, but Chelsea. I used to watch Men's Premier League just a little bit, just when it was on, like on the TV at home. I wasn't super familiar. I didn't follow it. I wasn't like overly obsessed with any of it. But I would just watch Chelsea when I was younger, and I was just infatuated by the stadium being full and like the crowd and like a good football club. Like, and I have an old school jersey too that I thrifted, so I think I have to say Chelsea.
Does it have a name on the back?
No.
Okay.
It's so sick though.
You have a week off. Where are you vacationing?
Oh, anywhere with a beach. No question. Somewhere warm, somewhere I can just like get outside, get in nature, get some vitamin D. Anywhere, really.
Okay. Now, last one, and again, I'm referring to your social media, but you were seen at La Banquise, which is a famous place in Montreal, to go get poutine. So it's best of Canadian food rapid fire question.
Yeah, okay.
Would you go for A, shawarma, B, poutine, C, butter chicken roti, or D, a meatball sub?
Oh, I haven't had some of those, so I think I have to say the poutine. That was my first like official one, and I had the smoked meat on it. So good, so good.
That's like combining two very Quebecois classics.
And I think earlier you asked the question if I had to gain weight quick. That would be such a feasible answer. Like, go eat poutine with smoked meat and French fries and the gravy and all the cheese. Oh, see ya.
And the Chicago popcorn on top.
Yeah,
maybe.
Sure.
And the chips. Everything just on top.
Just add it all.
Yeah, well, that's it. Thank you for playing Get to Know Me on Footy Prime.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Sigs, did you have any other questions? I wanted to ask Allie one more.
Well, I was going to ask about your goal this year. You know, that was kind of like, I do have to say, now that you said that you played striker, I can see like there was no hesitation there. Like that was in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that like moment when you were like, oh, I'm scoring this one. Like I got this.
Honestly, it was kind of one of those moments I just didn't think. And I think for me, that's when the goals happen, is when I don't even think and my body just takes over. And I remember picking up that ball and I was just like, it all happened. Like I wasn't telling my feet what to do. They just did it. And then I saw it in the back of the net and I was like, awesome. We need more of that.
I sometimes do that now at 47. I have to tell my feet what to do.
Yeah,
I
do
sometimes
too,
don't
though.
respond.
I do too. Like, sometimes you're just thinking about it too much. That was just like a no think moment.
And actually, I think too, I don't know if I'm misremembering here because we've covered a number of games Signa and I have so far through the NSL season, but I think it was against AFC Toronto, maybe for the first goal. You were the one who was making those third man runs forward and then challenged the keeper, and then it fell to, I think, Letzi, right?
Yeah.
So like, instinctively, like we can see now, it makes so much sense that you're like sniffing out that dangerous space.
I know, I've tried to adapt my game because obviously when you play teams, more than a couple of times, you have to kind of adapt a little bit, change your game, throw out some curveballs. And I was like, I've been playing like pretty middle deep, and I was like, let's just go forward a little bit more. And Robert's awesome. He's like, yeah, find the pockets as long as you're working within the frames of like our principles and stuff. He's like, you're a soccer player, you have the freedom to do what you see fit. So I started making a little bit more deep runs.
Well, we could chat with you for ages, but just one more before we let you go.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite moment so far?
Oh, honestly, we had, I think it was after that Toronto game, not at BMO, the second one that we played away.
Yeah.
We won that game. It was a pretty like dominant effort, and afterwards the vibes were so good. We blasted Freed from Desire on the bus afterwards on the way back to the hotel, and everyone was up on their feet in the bus screaming this song like I felt like I was in Europe. I felt like I was in Europe, like at some German pub, and everyone like completely sober, just like fist pumping, going hard. Like, and we've had a lot of moments like that, but that one for me kind of solidified like, yeah, this place, like I love it.
Incredible. Well, Allie, listen, thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I know that Wednesday is a tough training day, so appreciate you hopping on, and you're welcome anytime. But thanks so much for stopping by on the BroadsCast.
No, thank you guys so much for having me. This was awesome.
Terrific. Take care. Best of luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Hopefully I'll see you before then, though.
Hopefully so.
See ya.
Bye.
So that was Allie Hess from the Montreal Roses. So again, Sigs, we had Liv Scott break the ice because we've had other interviews in the BroadsCast. Clearly, we've had the likes of Desi Scott, we've had Vanessa Gilles, we've had other national team players, Evelyn Bien, Gabby Carl on, but we're starting kind of the ball rolling here for NSL and player interviews. Feels good.
So suggested people we should talk to, I guess.
I know.
Or who's out there that wants to talk to us? Come on.
That's right. Let us know. Reach Signa, reach me, add us. We're happy to have you on. We love those chats because it gives that additional insight into our coverage selfishly, right? Like I know Allie a little bit better because of my relationship with the Roses, but now I know her even more just after a 20-minute chat. And I'm sure all the fans feel that way too.
Yeah. And it's just, we watch these athletes on the pitch, and just knowing them, their personalities off the pitch is super cool. Like just getting to know them a little bit. Not just players, they're human beings too. So
yes, 100%. So listen, we have gone, as we normally do here on the not the Roses, on the BroadsCast, a little bit longer. Might have to edit that one out. But we did want to mention that recently the Professional Footballers Association had their awards, and Jade Revere is on the PFA WSL Team of the Year for 2025, and Olivia Smith, after winning Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year for Liverpool after she made the record transfer over to Arsenal, won the PFA Young Player of the Year. So congratulations to Olivia Smith. Not Olivia Scott, because she was on the BroadsCast 2 weeks ago. It's tricky. And we talked about Maggie Doherty-Howard being re-upped, signing an extension. And then there were some interesting moves, Sigs, or have been, with our women's national team pool. And one of them was Deanne Rose.
Yeah, Deanne Rose signing with Nottingham Forest, which I think NSL fans were holding out that she might come to the NSL, because there are certainly some teams that could use her goal scoring ability and certainly that experience. We were looking up her age, like because she debuted with the national team when she was 16 or maybe even 15. She's only 26 years of age, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, has had some injury trouble in the last little while, but we were maybe like just curious why she'd sign for a WSL 2 team. And
exactly, tier 2 with Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. So she's been over in England since she left university. So, obviously has established her life over there. So, but we'd love to see you back in the NSL.
I know that would have been, you talked about Maggie Doherty-Howard, that extension, how critical a piece she is for the Calgary Wild. What a coup it would have been for an NSL team to nab the likes of Deanne Rose.
I know.
I think it would have been good for her as well, because like now I think the appeal there, the upside, even though I see it and then I'm like, oh great, Nottingham Forest, like Jimmy Brennan from Footy Prime, like he played for Nottingham Forest, like it's a storied club, but then on the women's side, they're second tier. And you're thinking, okay, well, why? But then maybe the appeal is, connection with the coach, players that she maybe knows, feels like she has to get her footing in some regard. And as you mentioned, Sigs, before we press the record button, that you get to be part of a campaign where you're maybe getting promoted.
Maybe. Yeah.
Who knows?
There's the window's still open, so we could still see some players come in, and I'm just curious, as always.
As am I. So curiosity piqued, and maybe next week on the BroadsCast, we'll have something else to report. But thanks everybody for listening and watching, and cheers for broadening your horizons with us. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Goodbye.
That was formal.
That's never normal with me.
No, I didn't say normal. I said formal.